You ought to be a loser. Let me explain. Let's get wise together. Today's wisdom is that growth often costs something. Sacrifice often precedes success. Perhaps the things you're losing are making room for who you are becoming. Let's unpack this further with today's visual. And it's a simple one, that loss is part of growth. At first glance, this tree looks like it's dying. Its leaves are falling and its branches look bare and everything just appears to be in decline. But we know that that's not the end of the story, right? Spring is coming and the leaves will soon be blooming again, perhaps even more beautiful than they were before. Loss isn't always the end of the story. Sometimes it's simply the part of the process of growth. And so trees shed their leaves because they need to. And in the same way, we often have to let go of things that once served us so that we can make room for our own growth. Let's unpack this further with today's saying. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. That comes courtesy of Winston Churchill. Growth doesn't happen by staying exactly the same as we are. It requires a change, and a change asks us to let go of something before we can, try something new. You have to let go of that old identity. We've got to let go of our previous beliefs. Let's unpack this further with today's explanation. I recently had the opportunity to visit my old college, and walking through the same corridors after over a decade was quite a strange experience. It made me reflect on just how much things had changed since I was a student there. That journey hasn't been that straightforward. It's included struggles with my mental health, but it's also included discovering a sense of purpose and getting married, building wisdom made easy, and becoming a father. Looking back, I've begun to realize that growth hasn't always involved some kind of new invention. It's often included loss. I've had to let go of my old identities or unhealthy habits, addictions, limiting beliefs, and essentially losing the old versions of myself that no longer reflected who I felt God was calling me to be. And if I'm honest, I'd like to think that I'm almost unrecognizable compared to the young fool that I was when I left college 12 years ago. Not because I'm better, but it's because I've kept growing. And even though there's still some of those shades of my past self that shine through today, I'd like to think that people can see the progress that I've made. So if you find that you're desperate to experience that growth and that reinvention, here are 3 important reminders to hold on to. The first is to let go to grow. We often want growth without the sacrifice, but every new season asks us to leave something behind. Sometimes that's a habit or a vice or just an old identity that is no longer serving you. Don't confuse loss with failure. Losing something isn't always a sign that you've gone backwards. Sometimes it's evidence that you're moving forwards. And so those friendships, those routines or identities that no longer kind of fit may simply just be that they've served their purpose that season of your life. And then thirdly is to keep becoming. Growth isn't about arriving at a perfect version of yourself. It's about continually becoming. When you view it as more of a journey rather than a destination, those decisions and sacrifices that you've had to make feel more kind of purposeful than painful. Now, if you want to unpack today's principle of wisdom further, I encourage you to reflect on these 3 journal prompts. The first is, what part of my life might I need to let go of in order to continue growing? The second is, if I met the version of myself from 10 years ago, what would have changed the most? And then thirdly, what kind of person do I hope people see me when they meet me 10 years from now? If you want to learn more about the life-changing habit of journaling, check out journalwiser.com. But for now, let's look at today's resource. And it's a little bit of a different one. It's a little bit out there in comparison to today, but it's a great example of someone who's almost had to reinvent themselves and continually grow. It is Michael Jordan's documentary about The Last Dance. It is a phenomenal story, and I'm conscious it's not just about him, but I think all of the people that are represented in this basketball documentary very much show a growth and evolution. And whilst on the surface it is just a documentary, that narrative of reinvention and sacrifice and the cost of pursuing excellence over many years is something that we can all learn from. And so I wonder if you'd interpret it the same way. You can feel free to check out where you can find it with the link in the description, and don't forget to let me know what you think of it. Thanks for checking out today's video version of Wiser. If you want to join 16,000 other subscribers for the email version, you can do so for free at wisernewsletter.com. And if you are enjoying the video version, feel free to check out this playlist here. I think we've got about 70 videos now, which is wild. Enjoy it, and I'll catch you in the next one.